Coming up, big cats galore, a stroke of luck, a new underground hide, and a discussion about elephant population management. It's early October in Madikwe Game Reserve. It's the height of the dry season and the landscape is parched and painted in shades of yellow, brown and grey. It is a place that in recent years has been shrouded in controversy and has been at the centre of an ugly ecological debate around elephant population management. This 75,000 hectare reserve is stated to have an optimal carrying capacity of around 500 individuals. Currently the park is home to around 1,700, far exceeding what the land can support if this is to be a viable and sustainable conservation area in the years to come. I will circle back to this issue later in the video, but for now, let's remind ourselves of what exactly elephants represent to us. Aside of course from some of the higher primates and perhaps dolphins, elephants are one of the closest representations of human social structure that we can look at in the environment. Led by a matriarch, a seasoned guardian shaped by decades of experience, these herds navigate the wilderness much as we navigate our own lives, leaning on the wisdom of elders, nurturing their young, and standing together in moments of hardship. Each calf is welcomed not just by a mother, but by an entire community. Aunts, sisters, and older cousins rally around it in a chorus of rumbling reassurance, teaching it how to survive and how to belong. They grieve their dead, they celebrate new life, and they forge friendships that stand over time and space. And in watching them, we remind ourselves of something deeply familiar, that the ties which bind us are not ours alone. Family is everything. And speaking of family, this is mine.
I'm
videoing this whole thing, by the way.
Yes,
Whenever you're ready, man.
Join us for what will surely be an epic 6 days of reaffirming family ties and enjoying nature. I hope you enjoy the video. Those of you that have been a part of the Edi wildlife journey for the last few years will know that this is not the first time that Madikwe Game Reserve has featured on my channel. Since the last visit in 2021, much has changed. The first being the construction of a new underground hide at the lodge waterhole, which naturally is where I spent most of my time. The second change comes in the form of a new addition to the Day Edwards game viewing contingent. An avid sword fighter and a huge fan of coffee and drinks breaks out in the bush. And lastly, this guy. Meet the Tsolu male. He is the new ruler of the Chapa Pride in Madikwe's far northwest. He is a co-ruler along with another male who we didn't see on the trip, but this is my first time meeting him, and yo, what an impressive cat. He's of strong Kalahari stock and so far is sitting comfortably at the top of the throne in the far northwest of Madikwe. We were lucky enough to see him and his pride twice. What a specimen he is. In addition to your classic Madikwe lion viewing, which is always of a high caliber, we had incredible luck with cheetah. This is particularly special because the park is only home to 4. Of these 4, all of them are male, and had sightings of them just about every day. Remarkably, our luck didn't end with lions, cheetah and families of hyena. On one special afternoon, around the time of our drinks break in the bush, we caught wind of a pack of wild dogs moving through the area. It's been over 10 years since I've seen the wild dogs in Madikwe, and so to see an entire pack with puppies on the move right close to sunset was a very special experience. And now to address the many elephants in the room. When it comes to the issue of elephant population management, specifically in the context of Madikwe, 4 main methods have been put forward: translocation, habitat expansion, immunocontraception, and culling. Short disclaimer: I am no expert on this matter, and I'm relying purely on small amounts of my own research, a little bit of my knowledge from veterinary school, and my own experiences in the park. I do not feel it would be right for me to take a side on this matter, and so I will simply present each method and break it down a little bit, and hopefully allow you to better understand it and come up with your own opinion. Firstly, translocation. Translocation in my book is the least likely to happen. It would be ideal to be able to expand the range of elephants, but unfortunately no reserve in South Africa, big or small, is willing to take on more elephants into their population. Smaller reserves are either facing this issue already or soon will. Unfortunately, as soon as you put fences up around elephants and their population continues to grow, the habitat and the vegetation suffers. So small reserves are very unlikely to accept elephants, especially in the numbers that Madikwe needs to get rid of. Larger reserves such as the Kruger, the bigger reserves in KZN, already have established elephant populations, and adding more to those is only going to affect those areas worse. The second option, an equally unlikely option, is habitat expansion. A proposed corridor between Madikwe Game Reserve and Pilanesberg National Park has garnered some interest. However, the people farming and living in between these two reserves would need to be moved, and these areas would have to be fenced, and a huge amount of government red tape would have to be cleared. This would take immense amount of time that Madikwe currently doesn't have. The third option is immunocontraception, using the porcine zona pellucida vaccine. And to put it simply, this vaccine is given to cows over the age of 10 years, and it causes them to have an immune response if they come in contact with sperm. So if she's bred, she will have an immune response that will prevent her from being able to conceive. While this sounds perfect, unfortunately, each animal needs to be boosted with the vaccine every year. This is almost impossible when you're dealing with a population as big as Madikwe's. Being able to keep track of which individuals have been darted with the vaccine, who need boosters, and simply getting the vaccine into so many animals will almost be impossible. It is also not fully understood how immunocontraception or contraception at large affects population dynamics and social dynamics in elephants. This method of immunocontraception would be quite effective, theoretically, in a population much smaller than Madikwe's. Say in a reserve that's got a herd of 25 or 30 elephants, keeping track of individuals is a lot easier, and not as much time and effort is needed to vaccinate all the cows in that herd. And the last option, and the one that I hate that I have to bring up, is culling. Unfortunately, culling is the simplest and easiest solution in terms of logistics, time and money. It would require the park potentially to be closed for a few months and a mass culling event to take place. While it sounds simple and easy, logistically, the ethical ramifications and the social ramifications among elephants are astronomical. The Madikwe elephant population was founded on orphans and survivors from a culling project in Zimbabwe. It took them decades to become comfortable around vehicles, and only in recent times has viewing of elephants in Madikwe really been a calming experience. If you were to go in and start a mass culling operation with these elephants now, it would completely change the face of elephant viewing in the park, and it would cause serious trauma among the survivors. You know, ecology is a science, and with scientific issues, you really can't afford to be emotional in your decision. You have to be able to have a clear-cut, simple, straight down the line answer, and you have to be able to say, this is the point where we sacrifice the few for the many. This is where we take out, our excess elephants in order to make this park more hospitable to other species. For instance, on our trip, we didn't see any giraffe. There's simply no trees in the far northwest of the park to sustain them. So we have to really steer clear of being emotional and anthropomorphizing elephants, but it's just so difficult because they're such a good mirror of human society. It's clear in their interactions, the way they communicate with each other, that they're sentient. And so whoever has to, make the decision to start the cull, or whoever has to pull the trigger, my heart goes out to you, because that is a tough, albeit very necessary, but a tough decision to make. If it ever comes to that. Look, I don't know if it will, but if it does, my heart goes out to whoever has to make that decision and pull that trigger, because that's difficult. But anyway, let's see what happens.